strap yourselves in. This is, well, I hope it's a longer one because I want to talk about the Bernoulli effect. So it's in two halves. Those that want to know about the Bernoulli effect, those that are, I assume, boaters that may already know, and if you do, you might want to switch off, get it. If you don't know about it, and I know that there's quite a few people don't know about it, then this might be a useful back end to this Sandbag Sunday. Me talking about life, moaning, whinging, discussing is the front half. And before I move on, next week, so give it some thought. Next week will be about questions, a Q&A. If you've got any questions you want to ask, I think this is a great sort of environment, part of the channel where you can ask me some questions and I will endeavour to answer them as truthfully and as you know, succinct as I possibly can. Family off limits. Max is growing hair, so that's a good thing. It's just me and you, and you can discuss me, you, boat, life, this, that and the other. Okay, so let's start off. I have been moored here for a week, and it's a different style of life I have found. You see, when I was cruising, I had water points that I could use as much water as I liked, because I would pass a water point, fill up, job done. I could use as much electricity as I liked, because as I was moving the batteries were charging, and I would stop, park up, moor up, and yeah, I had a full battery of power. You know, put the telly on, put some music on, dance around, sing along as I do. I've been listening to the Bee Gees just recently, and I have found that the music of the 70s and 80s, before tech got involved, I found that really, if you listen intently, then there's strings, there's brass, there's background, what we call music, artists, accompaniment. It was great. It's not like today's music. Well, I don't think, you know, whether it's all about, I don't know what it's about really, but it's, you know, it's probably about money, because you need to get an orchestra in there, or some strings, or some brass, or some whatever it is you need, then you need to pay these people. So they just do it on the electric thing, or don't do it at all, which I find the case, depending on what type of music you listen to. And I have an eclectic taste, and this week it's the Bee Gees. Brilliant. Especially some of their later 70s, early 80s stuff. Amazing. So, where have I got to? Waffling around. I have become, since I've been moored here, a fanatic, because I want to save water. And the reason why I want to save water is because, you know, the water point's not too far away from here, as it happens, but being London or outskirts of London or anything like that, I can go to the water point, come back, and then the spot's gone. And it's difficult to park for a 66-foot boat. So what I'm trying to do is, the 2 weeks that I'm here, is save as much water as I can. So washing up, for example, I don't bother. Once I've eaten, rinse the plate, job done. I'll use that again. Pans, quick rinse, have a look at it, yeah, it's good enough, I'll use that again. If I only boil, you know, pasta or something in there, then or noodles, then use it again. And in the frying pan, because it's non-stick, and it is non-stick, give it a quick wipe round and job done. Use it again. Your spoons and knives and forks, give it a quick wipe on the old towel. Use it again. So I'm saving water that way. I'm doing a strip wash because it saves water. I don't use a shower because there's hot water tanks there, 40 foot away is a shower. It takes a while for that hot to seep through, and yeah, and it takes just as long time for the sink, because there's only a 3 foot difference. But I use less water in the sink, and I'll just fill the sink up with a little bit of water, towel, no, flannel, and then just do a kind of a tepid warm strip wash. Seems to do. Well, I had a shower yesterday, first time in a week. Ooh. I'll come back to that. And electricity. Sun rises in the east, sets in the west. There's a big tree hanging over the boat, and I don't get sun till about 1 o'clock. And often, sun's in the morning, gone by the afternoon, clouds are coming, really unhelpfully. So I've had to turn the engine on a few times, which has not annoyed me, because that's part of life and that's what will happen in the winter. But you get the point. I'm trying to maximise efficiency and power saving and all that sort of stuff. But there was a time when the battery was screaming at me, meep, meep. Oh, hang on, slow, so quick. And but having lithium, 0 to hero, 4 hours. Wasn't hero, it was about 90%. And then the sun, when it did shine in the afternoon, topped up the last 5 or 6%. And it's a sunny day today, so I might top up nicely today. We'll wait and see. So I've been conserving power, I've been conserving water, but that brings me on to smells. Ooh. Smells. I have noticed people today smell lovely. You know, someone walks by, oh, that smells nice, doesn't it? You know, so everybody's got perfumes on, body sprays, aftershaves. Everybody smells nice, it appears, apart from me. And I wonder what people think of me. Look at him. I mean, I keep myself clean, but I don't smell nice. In my day, the only time you put aftershave on is when you're on the pull. Used to wear a bit of Mandate. 8 or 10 quid from Boots or something or other. Denim for the man that doesn't have to try too hard. And you had that Old Spice. I've got Old Spice underarm thingy, you know, in a stick thing. And yeah. So everybody kind of wears aftershave now. Oh yeah, Old Spice. I was talking about that. Old Spice. You had that massive orchestral piece of music with a guy on the surfboard. Quite what that had to do with smelling nice, don't know. Never bought Old Spice, although I have. Because it smells quite nice, actually. So I wonder what they think of me, because I don't, you know, I've got some nice aftershaves, but I don't wear them because I'm not out on the pull, going to the discotheques, listening to tunes from the popular hit parade. And there's another smell knocking about I've noticed, a sweet, pungent type of smell that wafts down the canal. Now, it's a type of tobacco that I think there's a number of people have. I don't know how they get it. I've looked in the shops, can't find that sweet, pungent, smelly stuff. And you know what, it wasn't so long ago that I didn't know what it was, full stop, and that's God's honest truth. It was only about a month ago when I started saying, oh, what's that smell? Oh, it's this. That special type of tobacco. Oh, is that what it is? I don't like it. A bit sheltered in the mob, because we're not allowed to do that sort of stuff, and it's not my bag anyway. So, you know, yeah, strange. Don't like it. So here's the next one, locks. What do you do when a swan sneaks into the lock? Oh yeah, you know, I'll come down a lock and then open the doors, and then there's a swan couple of swans snuck in. And there. Come on, out you get. No, nothing. How do you speak swan? I mean, cat you can meow, dog bark and all that, woof woof. Swans, meet meet. Well, that was more like a roadrunner. But you get, how'd you get? I don't know. You can't leave them in because swans, when they take off, if they had to get out the lock, they do a lot of flapping. Their little feet run along the water, don't they? And then they take off. And they do that longer than 72 foot. So I had to leave the gate open because the swan just said to me, "No, I'm not coming out. What are you going to do about it, big boy?" Nothing. Too scared. I don't know. Answers below, please, along with the questions for next week. Oh, thanks for the tips. Those people that gave me some tips on keeping the blue, Prussian blue woody type things clean of finger marks. Bit of Windoline. There are other makes. I don't have Windoline. I have some cheap window cleaner type thing. But and paper towel, Bobby Dazzler. And that also brings me on to washing and smells actually. So I've done a big wash this week because I've been sat here. So I'll put a big wash on. That's duvet cover, bottom sheets, pillowcases and stuff I hang outside on the line, on the little line that hangs over the edge. But big, so it's big wash, duvet, bottom sheet. How do you get them dry? Well, in here at the moment it's like a Chinese laundry. Well, I've strung up a bit of string from that to that over there, but it does smell nice. Like it. Now, there's a British composer, I think he's British, a composer anyway, called Purcell, kind of with a washing powder. Get the point, don't you? Smells nice. I've ordered some paint. Boats have got a bit of battle damage along the way, going in and out the locks. I'm quite good at it now, but when early on, ooh, bang, ooh, scrape, and sometimes the chains down on the locks, they scrape your paintwork, doesn't it? Oh, so yeah, I've ordered some satin grey. The sides, they're okay, just along the bottom where it's scrape. Anyway, that I've ordered some of that because I want to get that done, ready for winter time. Give it a bit of a rub down, and then put a bit of paint on it, make it look nice for the winter. Well, I think I waffled on. This is part one. Part two's coming up very shortly. So for those who don't want to know about the Bernoulli effect, move on. See you next week. And hopefully, if you can ask me some questions, Q&A week next week. So thanks very much for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Those who want to learn a bit more, stay tuned. Oh, whilst we're waiting, get yourself a cup of tea, and also a little story about how hot the side panels get. I had to lower the solar panels this morning, and the side of the boat here is very hot. Now, when you've got jeans or trousers or something on and underpants, bit of a protection issue there, whereas I've got running shorts on with those mesh underneath that allow a little bit of air to where you need some air. It burned the old chap. He says as he's doing his polishing. Another disadvantage of having a darker boat. I wonder if other boaters have the same issue. Don't know. It's sore. Anyway, nice day today. my notes. Here's my narrowboat. The Bernoulli effect, Bernoulli, whatever it's called. As the boat passes over shallow water, what happens is water can't change shape, pressure, the molecules of it don't move in any way, shape or form. So what happens is as you pass over shallow water, the water underneath goes a little bit quick, which then forces the boat to sink. Not sink, but to drop a little bit. And it also, and which is known as the squat effect. And also of that squat effect, there's also the trim. Narrow boats, I assume wide beams are the same, where they're trimmed at the back, so they're heavier at the back end than they are at the front end. So here we go. Water gushes through the boat, causing it to squat a little bit. Because the boat's heavier at the back, it's trimmed at the back, and the back end will go down even more. Now that is noticed by the juddering vibrations in the hull. You'll notice that, and also the tiller would judder, and you'll get the stones as the propeller turns, so you get the debris coming up. Now the only way to cure that is to slow down. And then I don't know how it happens. It just does. Slow down, and then there's less water coming through, so less squat, and the boat rights itself. I never went to school and learnt any of this stuff. I'm kind of learning it now, but I can understand it because I've mentioned it on the tube on I think last week's on the Blissworth Tunnel video. So if you haven't watched that, give that a watch. It is not very noticeable until we are at 2.5 times the draft. Additionally, it says it can add 10% to the draft. Okay, so 10% of the draft is 2.4 inches. That's not a lot. My draft is 24 inches. But when you're floating around on very little water, 2.5 inches is quite substantial, to be fair. Right, so here we go. So let's say, for example, here's our canal and here's a bit of rock, and it's not peeking over the water, but you know, the water's over the top. Now as your boat goes over shallower ground, the boat will tilt. Can't really see that. The boat will tilt towards the shallower ground, again because of water pressure. This is a very Janet and John version. Those that don't know who Janet and John are, those are the first books we learnt at school. So this is very simple Bernoulli's principle, law, effect. Okay. Shallow water also has an effect on the boat steering. It says, here's the corner, got to go around that way. If you're going a bit quick, not only have you got the squat effect, but as you have the squat effect, more water's passing underneath the boat, and you go left hand down, and then the boat continues to move because there's so much water coming out the back of the boat, the tiller can't do what it should be doing, and the boat then acts as if it's on rails. Now in shallower water there's a wider turning circle anyway, so if you're going a little bit quick round a corner thinking your boat can cope and you're in shallow water, the squat effect, the trim effect, the boat will just continue going, and then the only way around it, I suppose, is to give it a sharp reverse, pull the tiller over as far as you can to the right, keep it there, bit of reverse. I learned that early on in the first week, in the first couple of days in fact. Give it a bit of large, giving it a bit of large on the old motor, wide open space, bit of river with a river saw, give it a bit of this. Yeah, fortunately nothing drastically happened, and I kind of slowed it down relatively quick. Good job I got a full prop propeller, and then boat started to turn. What do you know? Now the bank effect, someone mentioned that on the comments last week on the Blissworth Tunnel, and he said the bow wave as you're going forward, the bow creates a wave, and going through a tunnel pushes against the bow. Alright, and you've got a bow wave, pushes against the side of the tunnel and then comes back again to keep the boat in a straight line. And I said, well, yes, in theory. Now, in theory, yes, it works, and that fellow is absolutely right. And I said, well, I've heard plenty of stories of boats that still crash into the side of the tunnels. And I believe that to be true, because boats do crash in the side of the tunnels, because one, I've heard about it, and two, I nearly did it. And you'll notice if you watch the Blissworth tunnel thing, my bike was going like this all the time, which is why I didn't want to meet anybody else in the tunnel, just in case. Which brings me on to then passing a boat. As the bows come through, pass each other, they repel each other from that bow wave thing. As they pass, you've got a bit of negative pressure coming in, okay, and then it sucks both the hulls in together, both the sides. There's a negative pressure on the sides, and then as the sterns pass, again negative pressure. So again, what you need to do is to be mindful of this effect. I've always erred on the sharp side of caution when I've been past another boat and given them a bit of space. And that kind of thing is, when a boat passes you, when you're moored up like I am at the moment, moored up, boat passes you, as the bow comes in, it pushes the boat into the side of the bank, and then you've got that negative pressure. When the bow then, or when the whole boat moves out, the lines hold it in, don't they? Now, I've again noticed that when a boat passes me and it's at tick over and tick over speed, none of that really happens. But when someone's 10 metres away, travelling at 4 mile an hour or 3 mile an hour, whatever mile an hour it is, fast, and then they ease off for tick over, the boat's still going relatively quick even though they're on tick over, and then my boat seems to bash in and out and stuff like that. So secret is, go slow when you're passing a boat, go slow when you're going in a tunnel, although Blissworth tunnel said that you can smash it out in 25 minutes. I'd like to be on somebody else's boat watching that. I'll put it on the old stopwatch, time it, and well, there we go. So I've learnt a lot. I watched a Tubi channel only today talking about the amount of debris that hits the bottom, and he says, I don't know why that happens, it just does. Well, now you know, if you ever watch my channel, it's the balloon effect, the squat effect, the bank effect, the slow down effect. But on Tuesday it's all about Fenny Stratton floating market. I quite like that video. Thanks for sticking it out. If you're still here, I appreciate that. And there we go. Thanks for liking, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. See you next week.